Hi guys. So my name is Samantha Chadwell. I wanted to come on here. I finally sat down and had some time to record this video for you guys. I wanted to tell you guys why I decided to be a hairstylist. So growing up, I always wanted to be a fashion designer. And when I was in high school, I went to New York City and I saw Parsons, a new school of design. And, you know, I was really thinking like, that's kind of the track I was going to be on. But when I was 15, I was living in North Carolina, and I went to get my hair done, for like the first time having like highlights done. So anyway, I go in, I have, an appointment with a stylist who's the owner, and she, you know, came up to me, my mom, and was like, well, you know, I accidentally booked you here, and like, there was a scheduling conflict, so I went with another stylist that day. So I went with this stylist, who had 12 years hair coloring experience, as I was told by, you know, the owner and everything. So long story short, she used 40 volume developer in my color, in my lightener. So for those of you who aren't like familiar with developers and stuff, the volume of developer you use is kind of how quickly it's going to start taking effect and how quickly it's going to work. Also how much it's gonna lift. So, you know, something like 10 volume might be more gentle on the hair. 40 volume is pretty intense, I would say. And then she put me under the dryer for 45 minutes. And then of course, like, as we know, like heat is a catalyst and heat speeds things up. So whenever she took me out of the dryer, she took me back to the bowl and started pulling out my foils. And, you know, I was 15, so of course I was like, you know, if the water was too hot or anything, I was like, I'm just not gonna say anything because that's embarrassing or whatever. But I just had this intense burning feeling, and I was like, my head's on fire, like I'm burning. And like I got like an instant migraine from the pain, and she like ran and got the owner, and they looked at it and they were like, oh yeah, no, it's just superficial, like it's just kind of pink. Well, as time went on, it would like feel oily there, and it was very, very like sensitive, and I was honestly in the most tremendous amount of pain I've ever been in. And so it slowly started to kind of scab, this area that I felt the burning. And so I had hair, you know, down to my waist, and I would, you know, maybe touch that area or just barely scratch it because it did itch. And I would get like full like extension pieces of hair coming out pretty regularly. My mom was freaking out, so we went back there and we're like, hey, you know, her hair is falling out, like what's going on? So we showed them that, and they said, oh yeah, I see like baby hair is growing back. So we're like, oh, thank goodness. So I put off going to a dermatologist or any sort of doctor because I just was, you know, trusting that my hair would begin to grow back. So I was looking into different ways to get hair back, right? So I went to this place that was doing like plugs, and he looked at my scalp and he goes, you don't have hair follicles, like there's nothing for me to plug into, you don't have the hair follicle. And I was like, well, wait, do you not see any hair growing back? And he's like, no, there's literally no hair follicle. So that was the point that my family and I realized, like, there is something more serious with this situation. So I went to a dermatologist in North Carolina, and you know, I told them everything that happened, and they assessed my scalp, and they said, you know, this was a 3rd-degree chemical burn, and it permanently damaged your hair follicles. So you have a permanent bald spot, and it will never, hair will never grow back there. So they referred me to a plastic surgeon. The plastic surgeon looked, and basically it would be a 2-part surgery of them cutting in to expand my scalp, and then they would cut out the bald spot and sew my skin back together. So if I do have a scar at all, it would just be hairline. But that surgery is very, very expensive, tens of thousands. And that was, you know, the point where I realized, like, this is something very serious. So I'm just gonna show you guys really quick. So this is my bald spot. So yeah, that is my my big story. Realizing how serious this can be, that hairstyling is not like, oh, it's just fun, or it's easy, or, you know, whatever. You're messing with chemicals, and you're messing with somebody's skin, and so I really became passionate about the integrity of people and the integrity of their hair, and I really got into color safety, and so that is why I decided, you know, I want to do this, because I don't want this to ever happen to any other guest. So I just wanted to share something a little bit more personal with you guys. You know, do your research, make sure that your hairstylist truly cares about the integrity of your hair. It's something that I love to share with my fellow hairstylists, and you know, a lot of people don't realize the dangers of using heat or a high volume developer, and so that's why we do our continuing education, and why we invest in brands that care about the integrity and care about rebuilding the hair from the inside out. So that was just my little story for you guys, and I hope this gives you a little bit of insight as to who I am as a person and a stylist. And then if you guys have any questions, please feel free to message me, or reach out on Facebook or Instagram. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see y'all next time.